welcome back everybody to Coach Johnson's YouTube channel where we talk about the power rate, the air rate, and the coaching profession. So today, gonna have a little bit of fun and kind of just talking about, because we've had a lot of these developments in the last couple of weeks, but building your brand for your program, whether you're rebranding and trying to change, the direction of a program, or you're just taking over a program. I just wanted to talk about this one because I think it can be a lot of fun, but I also want to, just from my history and from my experiences, want to give warnings, but also talk about the good things. And so we're talking about building your brand, the trials and the triumphs. So one of the things that you'll see that I have right now on the homepage is you have what we're doing at Green Hope this year, or last year, sorry, when it took over, and we're gonna have a little bit different of a style this next year. All right, so stay tuned and be ready to see what we're gonna do with that. But my first head coaching job, I went out to Lake Mead in Nevada. They had 2 or 3 wins in the previous 10 years. We're about to fold the program. Not a lot of excitement, not a lot of energy. So one of the things that we did was that we wanted to change up the logo, change up some things to, having to compete out in Nevada and compete in Vegas and Henderson with a lot of different private schools. You wanted to be pretty flashy, and you wanted it to be a place that kids wanted to go. So one of the things that we did was we kind of interlocked the L and the M, and then between the L and the M, we put our eagle there because that's what we were. So we kind of redid that and put that in our midfield logo, which they had never done before. But it was something I was very adamant about, and I would even spend some time getting out there and painting for it, because it's just something that I felt like having a brand, having something that means something is important. When I played at Pinecrest, it was completely different than when we were coaching. We changed up to the flying P. We changed up our colors. We did everything we could to, make sure that it looked nice, and that people knew when they saw the flying P and that Vegas gold that it was Pinecrest. We were like one of the original schools in North Carolina that used that Vegas gold. So then you'll see like how beautiful our night games were. They hadn't played night games previously till we had gotten there, so we changed that up, and look at how nice of a view. We got plenty of lights. Had to set up those lights for the first home game. So there's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to tell you that right now. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, there's going to be a lot of that. Okay. The next one was Appleton West. That was a really tricky one because everybody believed in this one logo, and that, I even got told when we were changing the colors and everything, oh, well, this logo's been striking fear in the Fox Valley since blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, there was also decades of not winning a game. So we wanted to go with something a little bit different. So I got a bunch of hatred. People hated that I did that, but oh well, because this is what the kids wanted. They wanted to change up the colors. They wanted something that was more modern and not so old school. And there's nothing wrong with being old school, but the tradition had kind of left. There was not a lot of success there, and so we switched it up. And I'm sure I'll probably get something right here, and it's just kind of talking about this is like, you're going to get hate. I get hate all the time. But thanks for all those that continue to hate on me, because I'm not like others. I don't let it get in my feelings. You're helping me become better. Just so you know that you're fueling me, and I love it. So keep it coming. And all the guys have seen that right now, that where we're at. I love it. So bring it on. But I'm just telling the truth of changing things up so that the kids have some pride, because at the end of the day, it's not about us adults. It's about what the kids wanted. And that's what we did. And we had success. We had more success than they had any other 4-year run. And we beat 2 or 3 schools that we had not beaten in the entire history of Appleton West. So if that tells you a little bit something, and having guys have success going off to college, not just 1 or 2 in a decade, but, we sent off almost 20 kids in those 4 years. All right. So then the next stop was at South Iredell, and we switched it up, and, we went with our mascot on one side and then the numbers on the other. And if one thing that if you haven't told is I bring this stripe everywhere that we've gone until right now at Green Hope, which, by the way, that could be a little something that might be coming. But we took the stripe, we put that there, we put all the colors in there, and it was just an energy. We swept the majority of our county, which hadn't happened in a long time. So we had a lot of success there. And then when we went to Northwood, all right, we had these gold jerseys, which are one of the top jerseys in the entire state when people ask about like how the fit and, the uni combos. And then we switched up used a new school and old school kind of approach. So we used the gold helmets, which had been a little bit different. We brought the stripe there. And then we also had the old school N on one side, and what it was, and this shout out to John Cadell, because he was the one that kind of came up with the idea, Johnson Lamb. It was clear so that when it hit the gold helmet, it looked like it was a gold end. It was outlined in green. It was beautiful. I'm going to try and get some pictures of that later on there. And then we also used the Charger, so they had a horse on there. And so we did the same thing where it was outlined in green. And then when we put onto that gold helmet, it was beautiful. So it was one of those things that we kind of switched up, used the old school, came with a new school approach. The coaches and I came up with, talking with the players and what we wanted to do. And obviously here we have the wings like Oregon, use the green because that's kind of our school color. And so it was just a switch and a change on to, how things have been happening. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to get in deep dive into, the trials that you'll have. And then also you'll have some triumphs and just some reminders about, it's not easy and it's not for everybody, but neither is winning and having success. And so here we are talking about having a plan and applying that plan. And so, a little bit of background, if you don't know, is that I've taken over programs that have been at its lowest. I've taken over programs that have had way back history of having some success, and I've taken over some average programs. And so one thing that I always have done since the beginning of time is I have what I believe are core values that anybody should have and talk about inside their program. But I know for us, it's been a huge factor into who we've become. And I've done this since I was at Lake Mead, all the way up to our program now. But one of the things that I truly believe in is energy. Anytime that I've gotten a job, is that the energy that I bring inside the room and the positivity, and that, I'm not gonna just, sit back and not be talkative. Like, I'm gonna have energy. And I warn every principal and athletic director when I come in there, like, there's gonna be an energy change amongst the kids as well. I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna do things subtle. Like, I'm gonna come in there with a big time energy. That's just something that I've learned to be like from my mentors, or I've watched it from being around the military. Is just having that good energy and just not having to say you gotta be the most popular person, but coming in there with energy so that it can be infectious and positive is something that has been working for me. And so, if it doesn't work for you and that's not who you are, that's fine, because one of the things that we'll talk about is be authentic to who you are, and don't try to be somebody else. But energy for me is something I think that no matter what, in order to get that message across, you gotta have some type of an energy that people would want to buy into what you're bringing. And so the next one is your vision for the program, and then you being an authentic. I told you we were talking about that is be you. Don't try to be Nick Saban. Don't try to be my man out at Arizona State who has all the energy in the world. If that's not who you are, and then if you're not the Nick Saban, just strict as can be, kids will see through that. And then where you're starting off on the wrong foot. And so you have your vision for the program. So I've kind of put into, when I took over Green Hope this past year, what my big one was, because I bring it everywhere I've been, is win the day. But this one was being the alpha, something I listened to and had never really known how to say it in exact words, or to have some type of buzzword to put in, but being the alpha. And with what we have always meant by that is being the best version of yourself, and being the best version of yourself for the program, not just for your own thing, because we talked about we over me, and us over you. And so one thing that I kind of like, after listening to Coach Luce, who's out at San Diego State now, and he had been at Wisconsin and was with Dion in Colorado, was they talk about being the alpha and being A1 every day, and being that same person that you are for your teammates on game day, that they could trust and rely on you because you're at your best. And so that was one thing that it felt like had never really had a great way of saying it, but after really listening to him, it was something, all right, that's one thing I wanted to bring to Green Hope was, we always talk about win the day, but being the alpha and doing that 1% together, of always trying to be at our best for each other. But then also Falcon vision. If you look, one thing I want to play on words with wherever I'm at, and the one thing was, Falcon vision. Falcons have the best vision of any prey. And so it's just one of those things of staying locked in and seeing the plan play out, and seeing that, we're going to build this. That was something that I brought with Green Hope, and just a play on words. And then our core value for the program. So I always talk to them about, the core values. And then what we've always used is family. I'm big on family. I always say God, family, football. All right. Having a standard of excellence that kind of goes with that be the alpha type mindset and that A1. We talk about ignoring negativity, which we'll get into the next part. Our next one is positive mindset. I'm big on John Gordon, the energy bus. And that's the one thing is, having that positive mindset. Don't let the little things bother you, control what you can control, type of thing. And then our last one is elite work ethic. We truly believe that we want to outwork everybody, but we're also going to have fun while we do it. It goes back to that energy part. So all of it kind of ties into what we believe in for what a program should stand for. I do a little play on words or a little bit, different phrasing every year. So this year for us is all gas, no brakes. And I know that like that big bit from Coach Sark down in Texas. I'm a Texas guy. I love Texas and the Longhorns, and and I got the win the day from the Badgers. Those are my two teams. And when you listen to it and you're a fan, you're like, oh man, that makes sense. But then when you start really thinking about what that all means and applying it, it's something I've bought on to, and everywhere I've gone, I've taken those phrases. But what this is for us is the all gas, no brakes also has where we break down the GAS. And for us, we've been talking about grit at Green Hope and in our program. We've been talking about all in and just giving everything that you got, which falls into the family, part. And it continues to re-emphasize what we've talked about as a brand and as core values, and so then the last one is sacrifice. And that's kind of one of those things, what are you willing to sacrifice for the program? So we always have, a phrase for the year, and we couple over the one. So like the other one's like the no excuses, which goes into the, ignoring the negativity and having a standard of excellence and being positive. And then the last one that we talked about is 111%. We believe in giving 110 for the program, 1% for you. You put that 1% focus on you as long as it is helping the 110% of that you're giving for the program. So that's what our phrases are for this year. And that's just kind of what we do is, and like I said, being who you are and be authentic to that is, otherwise people will see through it. But live that out. And that's one thing that you'll see is for that rebrand, you saw what we did at Green Hope, we brought the wings, display it, speak it, and live it and repeat every day. All right. Display it, speak it, live it every day. So we've got that logo and got that brand out there as much as we possibly could. We speak into our core values, we speak into our mission statement, and we try to live it out as coaches. Now you're going to see, and we'll go into the trials that sometimes does it go exactly to plan? No. All right. But it's who you are, to what you want the brand, what the program's going to be. You got hired for a reason, all right? And so you need to make sure that you are presenting what you want, okay, and what you're trying to do, because that's what got you that job that you're now trying to turn around in that program. So this slide, there is no glitz glamour to it at all right? It's just going to be reality and me just being honest with my experience. And maybe it's just me, and if you haven't had this, man, then you have been killing it, and I need to come and talk to you and learn from you. But there's going to be trials, all right? People do not like change in any society, in any type of history. Nobody likes change because people get comfort and satisfaction from being able to live out the same thing. And you'll hear the phrases, this is how it's always been done, or, well, back in the day, blah, blah, blah. You're going to hear that, all right? And just understand that it's your job to try and get them to understand that change can be good, all right? And having an open mindset will have benefits. So that is what you, and setting your vision, setting your brand, setting your core values, is to get people like that to buy in and on the board. Some people just won't, and you just got to understand that. And then at the end of the day, the biggest one that I've had to learn this year, all right, is you don't take somebody's opinion that you wouldn't ask for advice from anyways, because everybody's going to have an opinion. That's another thing about society nowadays. Everybody's going to have an opinion on whether you're doing it right, whether you're, doing it wrong. It doesn't matter, if you invented something or whatever, people are going to tell you that it's wrong, that it sucks, whatever. That's just the way it is, because going down to number 3, you will have people prey on your downfall. There will be toxicity and there will be fight back. But at the end of the day is you got to believe in what you're doing, like we talked about, and being who you are, because you can't fake it. And if you truly believe in what you're doing is best for the school, best for the program, best for the kids, then keep doing it. Don't be scared of it. All right. Because the people that really do matter, this is going down to going to number 2, is that few will have the same energy of passion and love for what you're doing. So remember why you're doing it. So always remember that, your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? All right. Because you have to understand that, because you know what the end results and the process you want, it's going to be hard for other people to have that same energy, the passion and love. Okay. You look at it all the time as, man, I wish, this program or so-and-so would help out as much as what we're doing. Okay, you're not gonna be able to change that. So control what you can control. And that's why I'm telling you, these trials, it's gonna happen. But you've gotta control what you can control and keep your mind on the process, all right? And don't go through it, because I'm telling you this, but I literally just went through this past off season, this past season. I'm trying to help you out, okay? Make sure that you're staying true to yourself and to the process, because at the end of the day, you know that there are times that it's a sprint and sometimes that it is a marathon, all right? Sometimes rebuilding something is going to be a marathon. That's what I've had to learn. You know, my athletic director and principal have told me all the time, all right? And I've had those meetings of checking on my mental and where I'm at, and, you know, and I've had to lock in, because there have been times that, you know, there's been a lot of hate, all right? But that's great, because you know why? Is if you were doing things right, all right, then, or if you are not doing things right and you're worried about keeping people happy, then they're not going to say nothing. But when you are making a change and you are making an impact, all right, and people see your energy the way it should be, they want to bring you down because they don't want to see others succeed more than them. And you got to understand, there's going to be those jealousies. Deal with it all the time, okay? And it's no offense to other people, and it's not talking bad. It's just reality, and it's fine. Okay, it's fine when you are doing this rebrand, when you are bringing something new into a school. It's going to happen, but it's okay as long as you are doing it for the main reasons, which is for these kids, for your program. Then guess what? You continue to stand up and you fight against the negativity. You fight against those people that don't like the change, okay? And just always remind them, okay, in the best way possible, because we talk about doing it the right way, is you remind them that you are the captain of your ship, which is your program. You're going to do it this way for the kids, because guess what? You've had success doing that. That's what I think a lot of people do not understand when you are coming in and you are branding your new program and believing, is that you've got hired for this job for a reason, all right? And it's usually because you've had success. All right. Those people, guess what? If they had been having success, they would be in your seat, but they're not. All right. So just always remind them that if they were the ones, they should have applied for the job. They would have been the ones in the seat, but they're not. And so always stay true to what you're doing. I'm telling you, I'm standing on that right now. Okay. Been through it. There will be people that will not like what I just said, but guess what? I don't care anymore, because at the end of the day is I know what I'm doing, the why for it, and I'm doing it for these kids, and seeing those kids every day and the energy that has changed. That's why we do what we do as head coaches. We already know that, you know, anytime it goes bad, it's going to be on us, and that's fine. That's something that we live with, okay? Number 5, there will be times that you will have to compromise. What I mean by that is you can't make all the changes that you want because there might be either rules in place, all right, beliefs, traditions, okay? But the best thing you can do is you can compromise with that, and like, all right, how can we put a spin on that? All right, that's the biggest one, that when I always go in and I want, you know, either go new decals or, you know, not change, but like not use, you know, use a different logo, whatever. There it could be a compromise. That was the big one when I was at Appleton West and Northwood. Was I did use some of the old school, you know, logos or whatever, but I put my own twist on it. And before I did that, I asked the players, what would you like as part of who we are as a program, you know, visually, you know, not just, you know, talking about like who we are with our mission statement and what you want out of the program after 4 years, but what do you want to see? And every time is, man, you know, I just want something that they can say, hey, this class or this so-and-so, they did this for the program. And so that's what we've done. And that's the big thing of when you're changing up the helmet decals or using a different logo on your shirt or whatever, is there has to be compromise sometimes. And you got to understand that it doesn't mean that you're a sucker or that you have fallen into not standing on your belief. It means that there's just times that tradition does win out, because there will probably be somebody after you, okay? And you got to understand there's somebody before you. And there might be where the person telling you, hey, you got to kind of do it this way, they have a job too. And so that's a big one, is that you will have to stay compromised, but do not compromise your beliefs and your values and all that. This is like kind of like, you know, from, you know, using a different logo or whatever, but stay grounded on what you believe in. All right, so now that we got rid of the trials that you're dealing with, now it's the triumphs. And I have a little bit of a collage on the bottom here because it just kind of exemplifies what we talk about with the first part of the student athletes are having fun and having pride in what they're doing. So, you know, right here was, they'll end up being the winningest class because of our one season of seniors at Lake Mead. We made the playoffs. They had never made the playoffs before, and that's kind of what this picture is. Is this us in the playoffs? And that's like all the seniors. Before we're trying to win the game, but that was our last huddle together. But then that's our picture right there with the coaches as we took it for senior night. So it's one of those things of we doubled the senior amounts. We didn't have that many, ever before at Lake Mead, and we ended up doubling it. And half those kids right there had never played football. And like I said, making the playoffs was big time for those guys, and they took pride and had fun with it. It was just a fun ride with them. Then the next picture is us beating our rival Appleton East. Hadn't done that in a long time, and we did it on the college field. We were beating them the night before, thunderstorms. We had to come back the next morning, and we ended up beating them. In one quarter, we scored 14, and they didn't score at all. We just came in, and our guys just took pride in wanting to finish that game out and winning the rivalry game, celebrating it. It was hot, it was nasty, it was muggy, so it was one of those things of, they wanted to come out and prove a point, and so we did. And then the next one with Appleton West right here is that was our military night. We had never done that. Appleton West, big, coming from a military family, we wanted to have that, and the guys wanted to, and they carried out American flags. Trying to choose the guys that are doing it to carry it out was tough to pick from. But they, there you go. That was one of those monumental moments in our program, because then we beat Hortonville, the first time ever beating Hortonville in our school history, and they haven't even come close since then. So it was a big time night for us as well. And then the week after that, we go and beat a school down in Menominee Falls that was number 2 in the division lower than us, and we beat them. And the year before, they were the runners up, or they won it, something like that. And we ended up going down there and beating them. So we had a pretty good 3-4 game stretch of making some history, and these guys just bought in, and and having these pictures and having these moments still means something to me. The next picture then is at South Iredell. The guy that I'm jumping up with, that's Will Vuk. He had never played football before and ended up being an all-conference receiver. And it's just one of those things that, once again, is having fun and taking pride in what we're doing, and just it's moments like that where kids that had never played and they have a taste of success in doing it. That's why we do what we do. And there's the picture. I don't ever really take many pictures, official pictures, and I had the photographer take that because the guys wanted me to jump into that. And that was just big because, you're seeing our varsity and our JV guys. We grew the program, and just a very exciting year, and I loved all those guys. And so it was one of those times of, just things are going to change, and you just got to enjoy those moments. And that's why I'm very excited about this next year here at Green Hope, and hoping to get all that success and take pictures like this and have fun with those guys. Because, when you go through the grind and the grit of building a program, laying a foundation, and rebranding and doing things to bring energy and to have success like this, and to take that moment in time, that picture, it means something. So that's kind of going to the Triumps, is changes are going to be made. And it's going to be changes that you've wanted to see, but it's going to be changes that I think people from the outside of the program will also see, and then changes inside of it. And that's a huge triumph, because to make changes in society, to make changes with these young teenagers, it's tough. And so when you finally see the light bulb go off, or you kind of get to reap the benefits of what you're doing, it means something, and it's exciting to see that happen. You're going to see a culture and energy shift. Seeing that right now, and hopefully we're able to do it, because I feel like out in life, our guys, we've made those changes. Hopefully we can have it on the field. But you'll see a culture and energy shift, because they will start following the same thing that you're putting out as the leader, because that's what they know is to do as followers. And you'll see that they'll match that same culture. They'll match that same energy that you're bringing, and that you have talked about, and you reiterate it. And when you see that, and you see that the guys see that, and that they feel it, and you see some confidence and swag walking around, like you're like, aha, like it's happened. And that's the best feeling. I'll be honest, that number 3 is one of the best feelings I've ever seen, is having that right there. You're making an impact. When you get the thank yous and there's tears, and you get the text messages, every coach has had that. When you know that you're making an impact for the guys, like that's why we do what we do. The amount of hours you're away from your family, the selfless things that you're doing. When you get those texts, that's stuff that it sticks with you. And to know that you have the opportunity to make an impact. Don't ever sleep on that, and don't ever forget about that, because that's why we do what we do. No matter the wins and losses, you'll remember some of them, you'll forget about some of them, but the texts and the impacts, the thank yous, keeping in touch, getting invited to weddings and all that, that's the stuff that you'll always remember. The right ones will have your six. Come from military. When dad was a cop, we talk about having your six and the right ones. I've always truly believe in, keeping a small circle. And when you realize the small circle and the ones that have your back through it, that's what matters. All right. That's the Triumps. And those are your ride or die. And that energy and that feeling, captured like in this picture is like, that's another just amazing feeling of knowing that brand is there, and that you've made that impact, and you can continue to expand on that. And success will be a part of the process. It's on the field, I don't know. All right, I don't know if it'll be, but the success will be that you've made an impact on one individual, two individuals, that you're seeing your program grow, you're seeing people buy into what you're putting out there. The success will be a part of that. Just continue to part of that process. The next thing we'll kind of talk about is the ideas of what you can do for that rebranding, and it's something that really got into here in this past couple of months, and I just want to kind of go down the list and give you a little bit of visual and ideas that I've gotten from, but also some things that we've applied at Green Hope. So now we'll kind of talk about some ideas for the branding. So one thing is social media. So usually when you go in, you're probably going to want to make your own social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram. So we do Twitter, Instagram. We also have our Google Photos. We also have our band app, which we're also switching. Pretty cool ideas that we will now have a whole athletic app at Green Hope, where everybody will be on the same one, and you just manage your team and all that good stuff. But having your social medias organized so that it has your information, has your sayings and all that stuff, and that's just kind of a big one, is to have that organized, because it's about you. It's about who you guys are now, not the previous years in the past. So that's one big one. And make sure, and then another one is with their social medias, kind of have media days, have something fun, have some events. Like one thing, we had our first spring scrimmage that we hadn't had before. One of the things I'm looking into is having a Midnight Madness. Other people do it, but we've never done it at Green Hope. And so why not just kind of steal ideas from others and put your own twist on it? So that's what we do with the spring scrimmage. And we had a signing day for one of our athletes right before that. And then we had a parent get together and meeting right after that. So we had a big old night to kind of, celebrate the end of off season and spring. So that's one thing is kind of with the events is also make sure you get all the social media, post all that stuff, and have fun with it. Okay. And then the next one is kind of talk about hashtag phrases and sayings. So the one thing that we, talk about is the all gas, no brakes, Falcon Vision, all in. We have those things from everywhere that we've been. Win the day, as you can see, is our athletic director and our boosters are unbelievable at Green Hope. And now we have that windscreen for Win the Day is now on there on our practice field. And then kind of going down to facilities is do what you can do to help out the facilities. So that you see our locker room now. I got this from Coach Davidia at RJ Reynolds. We put LED lights so that the guys are excited. They've already had a bunch of media days, private media days with themselves and taking pictures in there. We have some ideas. We're going to continue to work on it and improve it. I have it on my Twitter of what it looks like. If you want it, if you have any questions on what we purchased, let me know, and we'll do that. And we're going to possibly put some futons in there, get big fans because it's really muggy in there. Just doing a bunch of different things to have them excited and taking pride in being at Green Hope, taking pride in the facilities. They want to clean up. They want to keep it nice. And that's something teaching them life lessons that goes along with the branding. And the parents will thank you for that. I promise you with that one. I thank you of making sure that, that we did a great job of keeping sure that our locker room was clean, that the kids kept things clean and all that. And it won't go unnoticed. You will get thanked for taking care of everything. So that's part of your branding, is doing things the right way as well. But those are little ideas for your facilities. Then talking about decals, logos, and graphics. So last year we did the green wings. This year we're doing green wings on a black mat. Thank you, game day skins. This is what it's going to look like. So we'll have what looks like a second helmet. Our main helmet, we got a little spin on it. Not going to break that news yet, but we do have another type of Oregon look coming out this next year on our white helmets. And some people will probably be hating and like, why are you worried about this and that instead of just winning games? Well, guess what? We're trying to build it. All right. If you ever, watched Field of Dreams, that build it, they will come. All right. And that's what we're trying to do is, have excitement, have have this energy around the program that everybody's going to want to be a part of it. Okay, yeah, and then that's how you switch it from not having a good season to having a consistent winning tradition. Okay, this is part of it. Is the kids get excited about it? They want to be a part. They want to wear the uniforms. They want to have the decals. They want to wear the gear and all that stuff with these graphics on it. So hate on me all you want. We're trying to bring that energy, and these are the one things with this this group of kids. I think everybody can say that is, they're a gear. Everybody loves gear. Okay, everybody likes the look of things. Okay, so that's a little bit of my idea on that is let's get some excitement back into that. Okay, so that's what we talk about with our decals, the logos, and the graphics is just switching it up and having little different things so that the kids get excited. And then the uniforms, that's what I'm really excited about. We purchased a new black and green, black top, green bottom, and now we have like 24 combos with our skins helmet and the different uniforms we already have. So we're trying to freshen it up, trying to make some good energy. But all these are some ideas for branding, because you just got to understand that as the head coach, you are now the main marketer. You are the chief of marketing for your program. Sorry using the business terms, but I went to school for business, and you have got to figure out how to get the excitement. Try to find people on the ground floor, figure out what people are wanting to see, and find a way, talking with your kids, what gets them the most excited, what gets that energy up. And that's what we did this off season, and we're doing it every day, and we're trying to make improvements every single time. We've just laid sod with our athletic director on our practice and our game field, all right, taking care of those facilities. We're putting windscreens everywhere. We have a brand new scoreboard. We're going to possibly have a new video board. Like I said, redoing things in the locker room, trying to put up graphics and wrapping the walls and the doors. Just have your brand and have your logo and have everything that you can possibly, because remember, control what you can control, and make these kids have that energy and the most fun that they could possibly have at that moment. Because I'll tell you this, whether you believe it or not, when they're with you and they're at practice, whatever, it might be the best part of the day. So why not just make it the best part of their day by far, and just allow that energy to be contagious. All right, so that's just kind of my idea on that. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you're watching, share. Every time that I make a video, you'll get an alert notification. Just help me continue to grow the channel. If you like this type of stuff, let me know any ideas that you might have or that you want to hear about, or if you want me to share anything that we've been doing. But anyways, hope everybody is staying safe. And I know all of us coaches, some people are already out of school. We have one more week of exams, then we start practice. But continue to grow and have a great rest of your day.